Tigran UZLYAN boxing out of Krasnodar's announcer. Born in Georgia, had a long amateur career but didn't compete much internationally. I mentioned that one defeat against Bahadur Usmanov, and the rest have been wins, 12 of them, 6 inside the distance. And he's walking into the backyard of his opponent here. We've had a number of fighters on the card from Ufa and the surrounding areas. SUBKHANKULOV very much one of them. So it's a tall order for UZLYAN, but exactly the kind of opportunity that he needs. This could be a huge breakout win for him if he could get it done.
Дамы и господа, приветствуйте на пути в золотой угол, представляющий Уфу, Башкортостан, Артур SUBKHANKULOV!
So SUBKHANKULOV making his way in. And those titles listed, yeah, that IBA.PRO European title, the WBC Asia title as well. And there's always pressure that comes with not just being a home fighter, but the main event. But he always strikes you as a calm, unflappable kind of character.
Итак, дамы и господа, это турнир Melbet IBA.PRO 9 в Башкортостане. И прямо сейчас нас ожидает главный бой вечера. Это поединок топовых российских проспектов легкого веса. На кону пояс чемпиона WBL Continental. И прямо сейчас для обоих участников этого поединка звучит государственный гимн Российской Федерации. Итак, дамы и господа, это 10-раундовый поединок за титул чемпиона WBA Continental в легком весе. Представляю судейскую бригаду турнира. Супервайзер Сергей Хурсанов. Боковые судьи Сергей Летунов, Россия, Энрико Личини, Италия и Мишель Максюта, Бельгия. Рефери в ринге Дмитрий Болдырев, Россия. Итак, представляю соперников и первым бойца слева от меня в черном углу. Ему 31 год, его рост 171 сантиметр, официальный вес 61 килограмм и 100 граммов. Он мастер спорта международного класса. Его профессиональный рекорд впечатляет. 13 боев, 12 побед при всего одном поражении. Чемпион Евразийского боксерского парламента. Чемпион WBA Asia. Действующий чемпион WBA Continental в легком весе. Представляющий Краснодар, Россия. Тигран UZLYAN. И его сопернику в золотом углу 33 года, рост 170 сантиметров, официальный вес также 61 килограмм и 100 граммов. Как и его соперник, носит звание мастера спорта международного класса. И его рекорд безупречен. 9 боев. 9 побед, 4 одержанные нокаутом. Чемпион Европы IBA в легком весе, чемпион WBA Asia в легком весе, представляющий Уфу, Башкортостан, Россия, Артур SUBKHANKULOV.
Господа боксеры, слушаем команду внимательно, соблюдаем правила. По затылку не бьем, ниже пояса не бьем, пожай руки. По углам.
So final instructions from the referee, just making it clear there that the belt line I think is good for both of those two. Anything south of the top of that belt line I think will be called a foul. Artur SUBKHANKULOV boxing out of that gold corner, Tigran UZLYAN out of the black corner. SUBKHANKULOV a southpaw, UZLYAN set up orthodox, and the crowd immediately trying to get behind the home man here.
Tigran already stepping on their feet of Artur SUBKHANKULOV.
Already having a little bit of success with that jab, SUBKHANKULOV. He'll just touch with the first one, touch the glove, and then just go slightly inside it with the second one, a kind of up jab. It's got through a couple of times, nothing major. UZLYAN has a swing with that lead left hand.
No rangefinders here.
Yeah, the uppercut almost got through, didn't it? A glancing blow, I think.
Выше бьем.
Just trying to creep in UZLYAN, a straight left hand there from SUBKHANKULOV, and as you said, he's just beginning to find that range. UZLYAN coming in behind that guard, throws the jab there, but he's got to be careful that he doesn't just walk into range, because he's trying to apply that front foot pressure, and that's fine, but SUBKHANKULOV is just working around that front foot, changing the angle.
Intriguing contest. Like SUBKHANKULOV here has got fast hands. You can see that he's got that hand speed edge over UZLYAN, but UZLYAN's been able to wing in for left hooks up to the body as well as up to the top, sorry, and then as well as landing body shots already. So he's found some range, found his distance for landing those shots inside on SUBKHANKULOV. So even though he's losing the hand speed battle, he's able to land some.
That's a nice combination, nice 1-2 there from SUBKHANKULOV. UZLYAN, as you say, at times in this first round has done some decent work, which will certainly give him encouragement. That was a nice looking jab there as well. And I think his game plan here, UZLYAN, is keep this pressure on, keep this front foot pressure on, stay on SUBKHANKULOV. He won that round. He's made to work pretty hard in that round. He threw plenty. A lot of it was good looking stuff from SUBKHANKULOV, but this is a 10-round fight. I think Team UZLYAN will be thinking that the second half of this could be more theirs than the first half.
That's the point. That's the point right there. Whether this speed will carry through into the second half of the fight. If it does, then UZLYAN's got a problem. But if it doesn't, then there's more opportunities for him to wing in that left hook. Once he was stepping on the feet of SUBKHANKULOV to both the head and to the body. You can find those shots. If you can come round the top of SUBKHANKULOV's jab as well too, then he's got avenues to put dents in his opponent as well. But he might have to be on the end of a couple of shots in return to land.
Somebody just encroaching a little bit there, I think. Told off by the referee into the second round. Decent jab there from UZLYAN.
He finds it over the top of whenever SUBKHANKULOV's just a little bit lazy with his lead hand. He finds it over the top and just keeping SUBKHANKULOV honest.
And there it is again. There's no real tell with it. He just plants it straight down the middle. Neat looking combination there from SUBKHANKULOV, but UZLYAN just saying to him, that's no big deal. I took that on the gloves, no problem. Left hand on the inside there from UZLYAN.
Left hand was a good shot.
SUBKHANKULOV again in this round has been nice and busy. Quite a lot of what he's thrown has been deflected with the gloves with the forearms. Not much has got through particularly clean.
Yeah, UZLYAN boxes the shots well and then comes back with something. And that's just keeping SUBKHANKULOV thinking, who in return is doing the same thing to UZLYAN as well.
There's that jab again from UZLYAN.
Face of Brendan a little bit.
This is a good fight. This is a good, well-matched fight. And UZLYAN, I think in the second round, has upped his own punch output. There's not much to choose between them in this round.
A hard one to score. You just saw a moment ago SUBKHANKULOV tried to land in a winging overhand right. Not quite fast enough, but also the hands weren't down enough from UZLYAN, but that's the shot he's looking to land. Big right hand over the top.
UZLYAN just stepped in there with that left hand to the body, followed by the right hand. These two just revolving around each other, pretty much always within punching distance, and I think this is set up very, very nicely. Should have pretend we're too deep. but they've set a good pace here. UZLYAN immediately just stepping into that lead left hook as soon as the bell had sounded. Whipping left hand there from SUBKHANKULOV, and then a nice straight jab. He's got some good variety and then looks to go down to the body. I think what he needs to do, SUBKHANKULOV, is just get his feet a little bit closer. He could do more damage that way. He's a neat and tidy boxer, isn't he? And he's got that good variety. He's got plenty in his arsenal, but a lot in the first couple of rounds is hit shoulders, hit forearms, hit gloves. Plenty's got through as well, but I think he just needs to be a little bit bolder here against someone who is looking to be exactly that himself.
He throws when he knows he's going to make contact. Just the issue is that his contact isn't full connection with the shot, so he might, like you say, catch something cupping on the arms, or might just get through but not to the full purchase that he wants. So what's the issue from a SUBKHANKULOV perspective is UZLYAN's movement, UZLYAN's feinting as well. He's keeping that bit honest in the fight. He's staying with him with the flashy combinations. He's blocking them. His guard is high. He's catching shots up top, and he's able to throw with him as well. Just when he's out of position, sometimes like he was when he had his was hunched over, and SUBKHANKULOV had his arm over him. He then, on the way out, lost a bit of focus and got caught with that left hook. Got to keep those moments few and far between, but staying with him is making for an intriguing contest.
There's that left hand straight down the middle. First one got through fairly clean. The second one was strangled mainly by the gloves of UZLYAN. Lead right hook there from SUBKHANKULOV. Again, he's been nice and busy in this round. He's had a good round here, SUBKHANKULOV. There's that jab again though from UZLYAN. Every time he lands it seems to come as a surprise of SUBKHANKULOV. As I said earlier, there's just no real tell on it. It comes from absolutely nowhere and manages to bypass that lead hand and cannon into the forehead most of the time.
It's working for him as well. He just needs to try and throw that a little bit more, because you can see his red marking on his head. It's getting through. It's having an effect, but it's just a bit too sporadic right now.
That left hand wasn't too far away. Just glanced the chin.
Вот этот темп давления тебе на руку, постоянно на нем висеть. Ты должен его утомить, замедлить.
Чуть темп даешь, ты же держишь.
Понимаешь?
Ему тяжело, когда ты вот на нем.
Он постоянно работает, да. А ты виси на нем, утоми. Раунд, 10 раундов, утоми. Побыстрей, побыстрей. Капа, капа. Бокс.
So into the fourth, SUBKHANKULOV in the white, UZLYAN in the maroon. And it's a close fight this. It's a good fight between two well-matched fighters. SUBKHANKULOV has done the more punching of the two. UZLYAN has had plenty to say himself. But I do think he needs to be a little bit busier.
Yeah, I agree. His output seemed to drop a little bit. This is UZLYAN. His output seemed to drop, and that was because of the activity. And when you're throwing with the speed that SUBKHANKULOV throws with, and the right and punches that keeps your guard up, and then you can't throw. He was able to find a few moments where he was, like I mentioned, that jab that's not very telegraphed. Those are some nice moments from him. He needs more of those moments in his fourth.
Because if the plan here is that the second half of the fight might be more his, that he can bring things to the table in the second half, then he's got to take something out of SUBKHANKULOV in the first half, and the way to do that is to just not allow your opponent to settle into any kind of a rhythm. You can't allow them to settle, because SUBKHANKULOV will just work around that front foot. He'll throw those combinations. A little bit of damage on the corner of the right eye there, I think, of SUBKHANKULOV. Doesn't look too bad, but you have to try and make them work when they don't really want to work.
Those might be caused by those left hooks. So landed one early in the first round. I think another one came in as well in the second or the third. But just a good shot there coming in. UZLYAN came in. You're talking there about the rhythm that SUBKHANKULOV set, and he's firmly in it. And there just seems to be that little less now coming from UZLYAN, and more of that offense coming from SUBKHANKULOV, who's having things more of his own way. Just touching him, making him think, and then throwing the shot in whilst he's occupied with a jab in his face.
And this is a good round for him, SUBKHANKULOV. I think he has just, over the last couple of rounds, just gradually got those feet a little bit closer, and there's a slightly ragged look to UZLYAN as we head towards the end of this fourth round. And in terms of the fight, through 4 rounds, he could be 4 rounds down here, UZLYAN.
He's retained the speed so far as well, which is a concern for the UZLYAN corner.
I think I may have given him the second UZLYAN, but I'd say best case scenario for him is probably 3-1. And he needs to try and hold the momentum. Momentum is key in all sports, but especially in boxing. He'll know that this has turned against him in the last couple, and he's gathering a head of steam here, SUBKHANKULOV, and he's got to do something about that in this next round, I would say. You get these moments in fights, don't you, where you've got to find an answer.
One thing he hasn't done much of so far is to throw with SUBKHANKULOV, and I wonder if he'll elect to do that. They sort of have their own moments, and he does that there down to the body. He did there at the top, and there was a bit of success for him. You see the sweat flying from the top of his head, but if you can do a bit more of that and let SUBKHANKULOV come in and use that as his entrance in and try and counter off the back of that and find a home for that jab as well too, a bit more, because that seems to cause that damage to SUBKHANKULOV's eye.
I think that's absolutely what he needs to do, because, as we mentioned, he's hit a nice kind of groove here, SUBKHANKULOV, and if you're going to wait for him to stop punching so you can have your turn, then you're going to be waiting a long time, because, as we say, he works around that front foot. He doesn't really load up on anything particularly. He just lets those punches flow, and they're not all finding the target clean. Of course they're not. They're not all thrown with particularly bad intentions, but he's boxing the way he wants to at the moment, and UZLYAN has got to change that.
Hasn't been enough of UZLYAN closing him down. They've moved and they've rotated, but these have really been on SUBKHANKULOV's terms. If UZLYAN can push him, close down, push him towards the ropes, and then try and pin him, and then throw, he might have a bit more of an opportunity to land something, because right now it's all kind of going the same rhythm, the same way.
UZLYAN just trying to get stuck in on the inside there. The head's almost coming together. You can see when he got off his stool at the start of the round that it's not like he hasn't been landing, UZLYAN. That right eye of SUBKHANKULOV is marked up. He launches into a lead uppercut there. UZLYAN did manage to land it. SUBKHANKULOV had taken his feet out, so wasn't in any position to make him pay for it. That's some decent bodywork there from UZLYAN.
The eye just looked like it's got a little bit worse than it was previously.
It has, it has.
It's not closing rapidly, but
that's something that'll encourage you if you're UZLYAN though, isn't it?
not only encouraging, but also it's a target. It's painted this target now. It's got a clear target to throw at, and not only that, you can use that to set up shots. Throw up to the eye, disguise it with, and then come back down with a body shot.
Good left hand there from UZLYAN. Into the final minutes of round 5, so nearly at the halfway stage here. And there's an awful lot that could happen yet. SUBKHANKULOV is winning the fight on the cards, you would say, unless something extraordinary happens before the end of this fifth. But we talked about him being made to work hard, and he is being made to work hard in this fifth round, that's for sure. UZLYAN has really stayed on him here.
You don't see too many fighters that lead with lead right hooks and left hooks. I don't know if you'd call that the Usyk Ivan punch. It landed on Dubois a few months ago. Definitely a feature of SUBKHANKULOV's game.
We do need to keep an eye on that right eye, no pun intended, because it's not getting any better, that's for certain. Originally it just seemed like a bit of scuffing around the corner of the eye, but it's obviously been landed on a few times since then, and it is just closing, I think, that right eye. And obviously that's on the lead side of his stance, being a southpaw, and the ability to see that left hand coming, which is what will have caused the damage in the first place, will disappear.
For any fighter, an eye closing like that is a problem, but for an accurate fighter like SUBKHANKULOV, it's an even bigger problem, because that's a signature of his game, being able to get in close and land it on his terms. Like you mentioned, a target right there for UZLYAN to build off of.
Не надо заряжать, побольше джебов, дергать, побольше действий. Ты даешь ему думать, даешь работать, много на блок принимаешь, ты понял?
Игра, сейчас работать нужно.
Там глаза почти нет, чуть-чуть. Картинка смазанная.
И заканчивай левой рукой атаку. И посередине.
Шестой раунд.
So into round 6, into the second half. They're scheduled for 10, and this is interesting. SUBKHANKULOV is going to be ahead here on points. I don't think there's much doubt about that, but there's an awful lot that could happen yet, and that eye, as we say, that is a problem, and UZLYAN has got to try and make that count. He has to keep the faith here, keep the belief that if he applies the pressure, makes it as hot for SUBKHANKULOV as he can, that he's going to get somewhere here.
He's already landed that left hook early in this round, and came back down with a body shot, and then caught him with a straight right. Yeah, that combination. That's SUBKHANKULOV's answer there. Brilliant hook there, but also just touch him with jab. If you can't quite see him, then just touch him, feel the fighter in front of you, and then throw off with that.
He's looking for that left hand every time he can. Almost found a home for the uppercut there, SUBKHANKULOV, not quite. And then just looks to backpedal a little bit. Left hand into the body there for UZLYAN. Again, let's that 3-punch combination go there, SUBKHANKULOV. And what's been interesting about this is that it's been a really good fight to watch, but no one's made a really major breakthrough yet, have they? You just wonder what impact that could have if one of them can do it. Sometimes you go through a fight like this and it's grueling stuff and plenty is landed, but no one really makes that dent where the other one looks wobbled or hurt.
No, it's not been that type of fight, but the one, there's a real good shot that landed there from SUBKHANKULOV, but one big, you wouldn't call it a dent, but the real concern there is the eye of SUBKHANKULOV, which has been a gradual burn from his perspective. Just wondered, like, with UZLYAN, brings himself real forward with to land that body shot, but doesn't take his feet with him. Can he take his feet with him as well, and then when he's there, come up with a shot? He's able to land that body shot quite freely.
That's good from SUBKHANKULOV. Nice work to the body just before that. They both had success with left hands. Strong left hand straight down the pipe there from SUBKHANKULOV. He landed a couple of those in that round and has a bit of a spring in his step as he walks back towards that corner.
Speed stayed with him so far, and so is the volume of output as well. Good signs from a SUBKHANKULOV perspective. As Russian.
He's bringing the heat here, isn't he, UZLYAN? He really is. He's asking the questions. He's asking big questions, but SUBKHANKULOV at the moment has got the answers. We just saw another left hand there just land on that eye of SUBKHANKULOV, but that was another good round for him.
Седьмой раунд. И ваша поддержка, Уфа!
You just get the feeling that all the way through the fight, and particularly now UZLYAN is he's just hoping for a lull. He's hoping that this work rate of SUBKHANKULOV is going to drop off and then he can really get on top of him. But it hasn't happened, and that's to SUBKHANKULOV's credit because he has been busy.
That lead hand in front of his face is just so pesky. It keeps him thinking. It's pushed in front of his face, so if he's trying to maraud forward and he's just seeing white in front of his face from the gloves, he can't quite find an avenue. He's also not moving the upper body in any sort of way to just find a little bit of an angle as well. It's just a little bit ordinary right now in the 7th. We saw SUBKHANKULOV get up off of his seat. He was first off his seat with about 5 seconds before the bell sounded for the start of the 7th round, whereas UZLYAN took every second before the 7th started. So it might just be the sign that UZLYAN's into the gas tank.
I think you're right. I think of the two that it's UZLYAN who's feeling it here, and he needed that to be the other way around. SUBKHANKULOV he's found that rhythm, he's found that flow from probably about round 3 or 4 onward. I think UZLYAN asked some serious questions of him in the 5th, in the 6th, but he's kind of settled again here, SUBKHANKULOV. He's into round 7 now in a 10-round fight. The finish line now won't seem that far away. He catches the left hand there though off the back of his own right hand into the body.
Whilst the eye might be closed and SUBKHANKULOV can rely on his feet are educated, so it's often that whenever he throws his offense there, he moves down to his right and he's out of the way from UZLYAN. It's not often in front of him.
Nice right hand into the body there from UZLYAN. That was a wicked kind of stabbing shot. 30 seconds remaining in round 7. And UZLYAN, as we've been saying, just has to keep working here, keep working. Fights can turn very, very quickly in the late stages. Sometimes a fighter is coping and coping and coping, and then all of a sudden they're not. I've seen it happen time and time again, and that's what he's got to stick to here, that belief. There's that good lead left hand again for UZLYAN.
Hurtful body shot as well in there from UZLYAN too.
And this is a tough fight. These two are giving us really good entertainment here. 3 rounds to go.
Артур, отдохнул сейчас? Не работай, хорошо, Артур. Не пропускай передней рукой, держи на контроле, принимай вторую атаку. Если ты хочешь проваливать, ты значит должен его, если не можешь проводить. Ты просто стой издалека, только проводишь стрельно на ногах, хорошо?
That was a good combination from UZLYAN. He's not looked for the body too much in the fight up until this point, but I think at the minute he's just looking to take whatever he can get. And that eye hasn't really got too much worse in the last couple of rounds. As we got to the end of the 4th, the end of the 5th, it was looking like the vision might disappear completely, but that hasn't really happened. They've done well within in the corner.
You wonder whether UZLYAN's corner might turn to throw caution to the wind and really kind of go for this, because SUBKHANKULOV's shots, whilst they're bothersome, they're not really hurtful. You don't see any bruising or welts around his face nor reddening around his body. So those are usually the signs that the fighter can take him. So can he take a few and then throw and land a big one in return? That might be his route to landing something big. Like you said, we're now 8 rounds through the fight, and there's nothing really big that's landed from each of them. So might UZLYAN think it's time to land something big?
Lovely straight left hand there from SUBKHANKULOV. UZLYAN lands a left hook as well, and I make you absolutely right. That is what he has to do. He was always going to need to do this, have to do this the hard way when you assess the styles in the build-up to this fight. But that's what it just looked like, that he was just going to have to stay on him, use that front foot pressure, take probably quite a lot to get to the range he needed to be at, and really set about his man. And that's what he's got to do here. It's a really easy thing to say, a much more difficult thing to do, but if he's going to get the win, he's going to have to walk through the fire.
Beautiful uppercut there from SUBKHANKULOV. You sort of start to think as well, could that bruising on the eye from SUBKHANKULOV be a gift and a bit of a curse? Because you think, I've had that success here now, I can still land my jab over the top and the occasional right hand and right down to the body. Do I keep doing what I'm doing and maybe it'll pay dividends? Or do I then throw caution to the wind? That's the decision that the team have got to make and the fighter's got to make. And that bruising might be the reason why he loses the fight, because he thinks, I might just be able to keep doing what I'm doing, and it might cause the end of the fight as opposed to really kind of pushing on the gas.
We've talked quite a lot in the last few rounds about what UZLYAN needs to do, but you always have to remember that the credit goes to the other person for not allowing them to do it. And SUBKHANKULOV, who has been made to fight here every inch of the way by UZLYAN, has just turned in a very good, disciplined, compact, economical even performance, because you think about how much he's thrown, he's not wasted much, has he? We were talking in earlier rounds about how quite a lot did hit gloves and forearms, and it's difficult to score rounds in that case. But every time he's thrown, he's almost always hit something, and that serves its own purpose.
Yeah, real signature of his game, that being able to just touch you with whatever he's thrown. It's very rare that he'll miss a shot, and in light of the eye swelling up as well, just the knowledge and the IQ that he's shown to just touch and touch with his lead hand and then come in with a shot. He didn't eat a hurtful uppercut from UZLYAN on the inside, right hand uppercut it was, but he's been able to weather that as well. So it seems like he's got the chin as well as the IQ.
He's got granite-like features, UZLYAN, hasn't he? Because he's got that kind of marking up on his face, but there's not really any swelling there at all, and he's taken some solid shots.
Does he resemble Paddy McCrory to you?
He does. He absolutely does. What would he be? 35, 40 pounds lighter? Just pump him up a bit, inflate him, and yeah, I think you're right.
The gait as well, is the way he stands and throws his punches a little bit reminiscent of Paddy McCrory too.
Paddy McCrory was responsible, I think, for one of my favourite ever away nights. It was Hamburg back in 2022. He took a fight at short notice against Leon Bunn. It was in a handball arena on the outskirts of the city. Loads of support came over. Kieran Malloy was on the card, Kurt Walker, so loads of Irish fans just fancied it and came along. And it was a terrific performance from him that night. Sometimes you turn up ringside and you just really don't know what you're going to get, and that was one of those nights. There were some strange fights on the undercard as well, people diving and biting, there was all sorts going on. So into the 9th round here, and this has been a really good fight to watch.
He's going to have to do more than just resemble Podmikor. He's going to have to find one of his big shots that Pod's found throughout his career.
He's going to have to find something solid. He needs a knockout here. Lovely straight left hand, a couple in a row there from SUBKHANKULOV. And again, just working around that front foot. What he's never really done, and something that UZLYAN has needed him to do, he's never really allowed those feet to slow down, leaving himself just standing still in front of UZLYAN. That's what UZLYAN has been counting on, and he's worked hard, UZLYAN too. He's put him under enough pressure to expect that would have happened at some point, and it just hasn't happened, has it? Because he'll rattle off that combination and then he'll roll away, or he'll turn around that front foot. You're just watching him do it now. He's constantly keeping UZLYAN just turning. It's
a lot of hard work in the gym, a lot of repetition with the feet, a lot of moments where, and to do this with that swelling as well, that's through experience, that's through the reps in the gym, that's through going through the fire in the gym. There's a lovely little left hook down to the body, then pivot to the right, and then come up with a winging right hook over the top. Beautiful, beautiful shot early in the round.
Strong looking left hand there from UZLYAN, just kind of heaved it in and then gets a couple away as SUBKHANKULOV looks to try and close in on him on the ropes. 40 seconds remaining in round 9, one to go after this.
I must be thinking, what is he made of? I've got a fight in front of me who's bruised up, but I'm the one taking the bigger shots from my opponent.
And there's that left hand again from SUBKHANKULOV. Good technique. And that's a major part of the reason that he's able to throw the volume that he throws, because, as we mentioned earlier on, there's an economy about him, which comes from having that kind of technique where you don't waste energy. And you look at that eye, I don't think he can see an awful lot out of it, to be honest. When they work on it in the corner, when he comes out at the start of the round, they managed to open it up a bit, but then by the end of the round, it's a slit, isn't it, more than anything else?
He's had to rely on his training. He's had to rely on his foundations as a boxer to get through with not 100% vision that he would have had when he started the fight, and that's a measure of his experiences in fights and in the gym.
Уфа, поддержите боксеров! Финальный 10-й раунд!
So 10th and final round, a touch of gloves between the two. The crowd have really enjoyed this one, so have we. It's been a good watch right from the start. The kind of fight where they mentioned the boxing scoring system earlier on. UZLYAN may well emerge from this with not very much on the scorecards at all, but it won't tell the story of the fight if that does turn out to be the case, because he has been super competitive all the way through. But SUBKHANKULOV has boxed really well here. He's had an answer for what UZLYAN has brought to him, as you said, temperament-wise and experience-wise. He's been able to cope with the damage to the eye and the obscured vision. And he's not looking to coast in this final round either. The pair of them, I think, happy enough just to nick a few seconds rest there, up against the ropes.
There's that left hook from Musa and going down to the body.
Lovely uppercut there from SUBKHANKULOV, and that's just an indication of that gym work you mentioned and how fit he is, because he's still rolling away, he's still hinging at the waist. That lateral movement is still there. And he's looking to finish with a real flourish here, SUBKHANKULOV.
Body shot from SUBKHANKULOV hurt him.
It does. You can see that it has, rather, because he's backing off. He's trying to buy a bit of time here, UZLYAN, and SUBKHANKULOV will close in again before too long, and he could maybe be on the verge of a stoppage here, SUBKHANKULOV. UZLYAN is just looking to stay away now for the first time in the fight, deep in the 10th. He is looking to try and find that open canvas and just stay out of trouble, because, as you say, that body shot hurt him. You could see him drop the elbows, you could see him retreat, and he's just put a real finishing stamp on things here, SUBKHANKULOV, whether he gets the stoppage here or whether he doesn't, because UZLYAN has never taken a backward step all night long until now.
Still feeling it, you can tell he's still feeling it. Not a lot coming back from him. I think it might be the left hook down to the body.
He's just trying to will himself through here, UZLYAN. And SUBKHANKULOV put a lot into that assault, and maybe he hasn't got too much left himself, but he just pushes him back into the ropes. UZLYAN manages to punch his way off with the left hand inside the final 30 seconds. There's that straight left hand again, where he just steps out slightly. He gives it a fractionally different angle. 10 seconds. This has been a really good fight to watch. Full credit to both of these two. UZLYAN has given absolutely everything in there, but SUBKHANKULOV has put on a very, very good display. A display that I think the people behind him will be extremely pleased with, because he had an opponent there who brought it. He brought the heat every second until finally he had some of the fight punched out of him in that final round, and he had to contend with that damage to the eye. He had to work very, very hard. If he had allowed that tempo to drop at any point, UZLYAN was there just ready, wasn't he, to capitalise, and it never happened.
Brilliant contest, worthy of the main event status, and a lot of talk about SUBKHANKULOV, and he lived up to what I was expected to see from him. Put on a real show. His speed stayed, his hand speed stayed, his movement was brilliant. He relied on that movement, he relied on his IQ. When the eye closed, he relied on his jab. He was able to find those body shots at the end, which UZLYAN never really showed that dent that we were talking about from either fighter. But SUBKHANKULOV was able to force that out of him with those body shots right at the end. And it seemed like maybe if SUBKHANKULOV just had that little bit extra in the gas tank, you could forgive him for it being the 10th round, that he could have closed the show. But there's also a defensive instinct from UZLYAN that you've got to give him credit for just finding that moment to be on the back foot, go to the ropes and cover up and take those shots to just survive to the end of the fight. He deserves to see the end of the bell, I think, UZLYAN, also because he put in a real good effort, which won't be reflected on the scorecards because of the nature of the fight that was in front of him. But you'd like to see more of UZLYAN in the future, and a lot more of SUBKHANKULOV too.
And you look at their faces and you can tell that they've been in a fight, these two. There was plenty landed throughout the course of the fight. It was an all-action kind of a contest right from the beginning. And the referee just looking to call these two to the centre. I think the MC has got the all-important piece of paper in his hand. They want to keep that ice pack on that eye because they want to get that swelling down or keep it down as much as they possibly can. Scuffing and marking up discoloration around the eyes and the forehead there of UZLYAN. So the referee just waiting for UZLYAN. Here he comes.
Глава Республики Башкортостан Радий Фаритович Хабиров. Итак, дамы и господа, это был потрясающий поединок двух больших мастеров своего дела, каждый из участников которого, без сомнения, заслужил ваши аплодисменты. Итак, дамы и господа, по завершении 10 раундов бокса обратимся к судейским запискам. Судья 1, 97-93. Судьи 2 и 3 одинаково оценили этот бой 98-92. Таким образом, единогласным решением судей победу по очкам одержал и стал новым чемпионом WBA Continental в легком весе из Уфы, Башкортостан, Artur SUBKHANKULOV.
So SUBKHANKULOV, who was announced as the winner there. My Russian, I'm afraid, does not stretch to me translating those scorecards for you, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's something in the region of 98, 92s, maybe a 97, 93 might have crept in. I wouldn't have seen 3 probably for UZLYAN myself. Often you see that, don't you? Judges kind of, they know which way it's going and they're kind of looking to give the other guy something because they feel like he deserves it. We'll see, but it was a comprehensive win from SUBKHANKULOV, a really good performance. He takes that WBA belt, that IBA belt as well, and it rounds off what has been a good night. And as you say, Eamon, keen to see him again. I've seen him a few times now, but it was the first time that I've really seen him in a fight like that. And you want to see those questions asked, because he was definitely asked questions there.
Not matchmaker, but if he's not going to be in world title contention next, then look at the likes of Lucas Baddy or Maxi Hughes, which I think would be interesting contests for someone of the caliber of SUBKHANKULOV, who's will be waiting for an opportunity. But those would be 2 fights you think would be really exciting fights, and both fighters that could really push him in there. Maxi Hughes, no stranger to being an underdog and causing an upset. Alongside Lucas Baddy, he's got a big heart punch with him. We've seen that devastating effect against Ashton Silva. SUBKHANKULOV seems like someone who's ready for that top level, can take that step just a little bit below before, but ready to be in title contention pretty soon.
And it was good to watch. It was good to watch right from the start. And as we described, he just worked in that quite tight circle around his opponent, SUBKHANKULOV, just pivoting around that front foot, using that kind of inner clock face, good variety to the punches. And that was a problem, that eye. It was a problem, and it appeared relatively early in the piece, but the corner did a good job on it. But the main job had to be done by him, and he navigated some quite tricky waters there at time. And it was a really good performance. Okay, that rounds it up for IBA.PRO 9 from Ufa. Thanks very much for joining us, everybody. We are back in just a few days' time. The big man, Bakidir Jalolov, is in action against Murad Khalidov. That is coming your way on October the 7th, IBA.PRO 10. So do make sure you check that one out. In the meantime, take it easy, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Юбилейную 10-ю. И теперь на его талии красуется новый пояс WBA Continental в легком весе. Ну что ж, Артур, было понятно, что это будет жесткий бой, что тебе придется достать все свое мужество, весь свой большой, грандиозный, в том числе любительский опыт. Но ожидал ли ты, что будет так жестко?
Если честно, полностью, вот как я представлял бой, так он и сложился. Я понимал, что будут сложные 10 раундов. Хочу выразить большую благодарность своему сопернику, Тиграну UZLYANу, за это противостояние, потому что бой делают два боксера. Безусловно, ему огромное уважение, что он приехал ко мне домой в гости в Уфу, принял этот бой. И мы сегодня показали 10 раундов, скажем так, кровопролитного, бескомпромиссного боя.
В 10-м раунде видели момент, где твоему сопернику было откровенно тяжело. Ты попал по корпусу, судя по всему. Не получилось доработать или не стал рисковать?
Наверное, как вы видели, я пытался доработать, но все-таки 10-й раунд сказался, силы были уже на исходе, и догнать не удалось. Но все равно это придало некую изюминку этому бою и добавило красочности.
Ну что ж, ты продолжаешь собирать профессиональные пояса, у тебя их уже несколько, в том числе есть IBA Европа, правильно, насколько я помню. Что дальше? За каким поясом теперь начинает охоту Артур Субханкулов?
Наверное, все вопросы это моему менеджеру Олегу Богданову. Пока что мне предстоит небольшой отдых, вот, а дальше будем планировать. Думаю, до конца боя я проведу еще один бой.
Ну и отдельных аплодисментов лично от меня заслуживает уфимская публика, потому что многие болельщики остались в зале для того, чтобы поблагодарить своего боксера. Остались до конца. И, наверное, у тебя есть какие-то важные слова для важных для тебя людей.
Конечно же, безусловно, это весь мой зал, мои друзья, спарринг-партнеры, мой тренер моей Карабанова. Это в ринге, скажем так, звезда одна, проводится большая закулисная работа. Это массажисты, психологи, тренера, спарринг-партнеры, проделывается большая работа. Всех помню, всех вижу, всем большое спасибо. Без вас этой победы сегодня бы не было.
Дамы и господа, ваш чемпион Артур Субханкулов! На этом наш турнир Melbet IBA.PRO 9 в Башкортостане завершен. Но мы не прощаемся с вами, а говорим вам до очень скорых встреч. Большой бокс